My name is Jonathan Heaton, and I have the case Zelman versus Simmons Harris, and it was decided by the United States Supreme Court in 2002. This case dealt specifically with school vouchers, and just to give you a little background, a voucher is a state-granted tuition coupon, is how the text described it, that parents can use to enroll their students in private and or public schools of their choosing, and whether or not that those schools be religious or non-religious. Um, the what it was essentially is the state of Ohio, had a pilot voucher program in play that did two things. So the first thing, it provided tuition aid for grades kindergarten through 8th grade essentially, and to attend the parents' choice of public or private school. Once again, regardless of whether or not it was a religious or non-religious school. The second thing it did is it provided tutorial aid for students who remained enrolled in public school. And so if they chose to stay in the public school, they could receive tuition or tutoring throughout their schooling. This program was established in 1996. It went through several different phases of being reviewed by courts and whatnot, and eventually in December of 2000, a court of appeals found that the program had the primary effect of advancing religion, and that it actually violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. That then was later overturned by the Supreme Court. The main issue was whether or not the voucher that came from the state tax money from the property tax could be given to the parents to then go to a religious school, and indirectly fund those religious schools through these vouchers. So that was the issue, whether or not these religious schools, private schools, were being funded with state tax money and through the vouchers, but just indirectly. The United States Supreme Court, they came to the decision that the Ohio voucher program did not violate the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, and in citing their legal rationale, they first brought up the court case Augustini versus Felton, and where they addressed the purpose and effect of the advancement or inhibitance of religion, essentially, within this case. Under the purpose part of it, they found that the program was secular in nature, and it had a secular purpose of providing educational assistance to poor children. So it did not advance any religious goal. On the effect side of it, they cited cases such as Mitchell versus Helms, which separated a distinction between direct funding and private choice, and then to help support their private choice decision, they cited cases such as Mueller versus Allen and Zobrist versus I believe that's the Zobrist versus the Catalina Foothills School District. That was the key difference, is that essentially the state of Ohio was allowing parents to make the choice of whether or not where that money went, regardless of whether it went to religious schools or non-religious schools. It was the private choice that won the day. So it wasn't so much that they were funding these religious schools, it was that they were advancing secular education through their vouchers. And this case, essentially, the book said that I'll just read a little bit here for you. It says, Zelman is the final word on vouchers, the Establishment Clause, and Church of State relationships. It established the long sought after precedent that expounded a constitutional justification for voucher aid to church-related schools. So it established a precedent for remaining cases for whether or not vouchers could be used to help aid church-related schools. And that is my presentation for this case. Enjoy!